Yeah. Deep Thoughts.
All right, welcome to the Deep Thoughts podcast, episode 14.
Yep.
All right, all right. We got a lot of special guests here. We're joined by the G Wouldn't You Like to Know podcast with Mason.
Sup?
And Chayce.
Sup?
All right, and then special guest Tyler.
That's our intro.
And then Tyler.
Hello.
And then we got Brady, but he won't say anything. But he's here.
Hello.
All right, so I know you guys are pretty big fans of sports, especially the National Fucking League. So if you could,
Wow.
so
How'd you see my porn history?
So if you could fuck any NFL player, who would it be? Go.
Oh, Sam Darnold right off the bat.
Sam Darnold, nice young gun, young buck. All right,
Are we saying why, or are we just going to go and share our answers?
we'll share our answers and then we'll go back and say
Okay.
why.
Do
Do they have to be a current player?
That's kind of gross, but sure, you can say whatever.
I can say whatever. It doesn't have to be. Vince Wilfork.
Vince Wilfork. Oh boy, I'm getting smothered by that man. Tyler?
I'm gonna have to go with Kareem Hunt.
Kareem
okay,
Hunt.
yeah.
Yeah, you'd have a hard on for him. Brady, would you like to say anything?
Linval Joseph.
Linval Joseph. He runs 20 miles an hour at like 340 pounds. It's pretty impressive. Imagine how fast he is in bed. My choice is Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, he's a good
He's
looking.
quite the looker.
If I had to pick a current player, I'd have to fuck Jermaine Fetty because he's been fucking the Seahawks all year.
Oh!
Oh!
All right, Jermaine Fetty, if you're listening to this, feel free to come on and defend yourself.
Jermaine Fetty, if you're listening to this, I will give you $1 billion.
All right,
Oh,
Zach.
God.
Zach, what's your pick?
Baker Mayfield, but only if he's wearing the Karate Kid.
only the bandana.
Yeah. That's hot.
Baker Mayfield and Zach hooked up. That's why the next morning you said I was feeling dangerous this morning. So, all right. So reasons why. Chayce, why do you want to fuck Sam Darnold?
I don't really need any reasons. I mean, if you, his
Beard's kind
forehead,
of patchy.
his forehead literally. So I mean, if we're reproducing, that's the whole goal. Now,
All
he
about
ki-
reproduction. It's gay sex.
Hear me out, okay?
What is this podcast?
Okay.
Wait. Before we go any further,
Thoughts.
no homo. This is,
Oh, yeah, no homo.
no
No.
homo.
This is all theoretical.
Yeah.
Is it though?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Maybe not for you and Kareem. But, he looks like a fucking Neanderthal. So, like
That's quite attractive.
well, I'm all about the
that's-
D1 athletes.
I was about to ask
And
that.
Neanderthals, they
Neanderthal
got some D.
is Andrew Luck and Jack Doyle.
Yeah.
No.
Change my
What's
answer.
his
It's
face?
Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
The guy from St. Mary's. That's
Enough
John
about
Landale?
basketball.
Yeah, this is
that
a.
guy.
This is
But
not a
that-
basketball podcast.
I know, but he's saying Neanderthal.
If you want to listen to a real basketball podcast,
We'll get
G was
there.
like,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I was like, podcast on Twitter.
Shameless
This is
plug.
not free advertising for yourself.
Let's get over it. Let's first get past the talk about fucking NFL players, and we can talk about your podcast. The reason why I want to fuck Jimmy Garoppolo is because he's making a lot of money right now. He's already won 2 Super Bowls. He's undefeated in the Super Bowl. He's got a nice beard. Oh man,
He's got a
I
nice
know.
skin. He's got a nice skin color.
Yeah, nice skin color.
Nice tan
Oh,
going.
Oh,
Really
does. He does.
Yeah, that seemed awfully like you've thought about
I've
this a
been,
lot.
I've been thinking about this since he entered the league. Oh, man.
Blake has a notepad in his back pocket, list of reasons why I want to fuck Jimmy Garoppolo.
He's like, one of these days I'll be able to share my secrets in the world. No homo though.
No.
Yeah, no homo. We're just having fun. All right. Anybody else want to share
Yeah, so-
who and why?
You want to get Garoppolo blowed?
No,
Oh.
shit.
Ooh.
That was beautiful.
I'll give that a 5 out of 10.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a very punny podcast. Yeah.
Oh god.
Tyler, what do you want to fuck Kareem Hunt besides him carrying your fantasy team to miss playoffs again?
Yeah.
But that's my first time. I'm gonna miss the playoffs if it happens.
Well, yeah.
But
if
I mean,
it happens.
All
I
right.
mean, why
Our
wouldn't
fans do not know any backstory about our fantasy football league, so we don't really.
Backstory:
Well-
Tyler's bad at fantasy football.
Oh, apparently. Never finished worse than like third, but whatever.
2 and 7. Yeah.
I haven't finished. But,
All right. Next topic.
you haven't got why the fuck Kareem Hunt.
Say it then.
Because why wouldn't you, idiot?
All right, there you go. Thank you for adding that. But so yeah, our 2 special guests, Brady, no. So our two special guests is Chayce and Mason from the G Wouldn't You Like to Know podcast. Tell us about your podcast. What's a little something special about it? What do you talk about?
Well, it's a little bit more G-rated than this one.
We don't talk about
Yet.
fucking men, really, on that one.
Don't
Not yet.
actually fucking-
Yeah, so G, wouldn't you like to know, we run a Gonzaga basketball podcast. We talk about Gonzaga basketball, and that's it.
Yeah.
Where can they find you?
You can find us on SoundCloud at Gonzaga Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Gonzaga Podcast, and you can find us on Instagram at Gonzaga Podcast.
They paid good money for those names.
We like consistency.
Yeah.
That's why we
I don't.
record.
I don't even know our Twitter username. I think it's DT Podcast 11 or
Yep,
something.
that's what it is.
We were spending like 10 minutes creating our Instagram and Twitter names. And apparently
I think it's
Deep
because
Thots
Thots
Podcast.
doesn't allow you to... Thots is...
I think you can
slower,
have
I
bad
think.
words and usernames. I thought, right?
Can you in Twitter? You definitely
I guess
can.
not.
God, it's-
I guess I haven't really paid
And not on
attention.
Halo.
It's loves to splooge all over again.
Ugh.
But yeah,
Alright.
They're like,
that's
what,
pretty much
what is he talking about? Loves to splooge.
But yeah, so we have one episode. We have one episode of our podcast so far. We're gonna get episode 2 out here.
When was
eventually.
episode 1 uploaded? Like
Like a
3 weeks
month
ago?
ago.
I don't want to talk about it.
Probably about a month ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
Gonzaga has played in 3
Just-
basketball games.
Since that time.
Just upload it to
You guys got
YouTube
a
and
lot
say
of
new
new
episode
content
out.
out.
Yeah,
Not a new
right.
platform.
But yeah, we've been really busy, so we're trying to figure out a time to put episode 2 out. But hopefully
You're
we
gonna
can
have a
get...
lot of content then if you're
Yeah.
waiting.
Yeah, it's gonna
That's
be
what
like
I'm
a
So
5-hour-long mega episode.
yeah,
Right.
I'm like,
At
do
the
you
end
get-
of episode 1, we say that episode 2 is going to be a season preview, but that was like a month ago. So the season started now, and here we are. So if you want to follow a podcast that may or may not ever post anything, come follow us.
We're the podcast for you.
but wait until you're done listening to this one before you go.
Yeah, alright, back to us, the important podcast. So, another special note we could say is that me and Zach are drinking right now, and I'm ready to get wasted. So, I also need to make another drink, so
I
pretty
don't know
soon
if I
I'm
made
going to
mine
sneak
strong
out of
enough.
here.
It tastes a
Not
little
bad.
bit, yeah.
Already finished mine. Tyler's got a nice beer. How's that beer, Tyler?
More beer.
More
All
beer.
right.
Alright, he likes it.
Gotta set a good example for the children listening to this podcast.
Exactly.
Damn
Don't
right.
drink unless you're 21, kids.
Damn right.
What do you mean? This podcast has one listener, and I'm sitting right here.
we have quite the fan base in the
Hey,
Netherlands.
I finally found our Spotify listens. We're at like 250 on
Oh,
Spotify.
shit.
Yeah, so
Wow.
suck our
What,
dicks.
13 episodes?
And I would just like to say none of those 250 were me because I have not listened to a single episode, and I have tried, but but here I am. I'm going to listen to this one.
Alright, so speaking of drinking, do you guys have any fun drinking stories you'd like to share for the fans?
Oh,
Oh,
God.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I like to hear.
I mean, I don't know. I guess we can go back to the most recent one for Watershed. Watershed 2K18.
That was the most recent one.
You haven't been drunk since Watershed 2.
Oh, well, not to that level.
The sad life.
Go back last week.
We just have to ask people of legal drinking age for these stories because we don't
Oh,
have any
yeah.
of our
Yeah,
own.
yeah. 'Cause you-
Yeah.
We could talk about
Even though I've already
Vegas. That
talked
would be
about
the
it.
cool thing to talk about.
Yeah, actually, yeah, start off with Vegas.
Okay, so me, Chayce, Tyler, and Brady, who's all sitting here, we went to Vegas last summer for Brady's 21st birthday. So a group of 8 of us went to Vegas. Brady and Blake's dad put us up in like a penthouse suite in the Mirage. We were there for 3 days, got a bunch of alcohol. It
Tiger
was,
in the bathroom.
yeah, it was pretty crazy. Like, we were prepared for it to be pretty crazy, and it was even crazier than we thought. So,
None of us died somehow, though. That was the kind of shocking part. I was expecting, but only one person threw up. Shout out to TJ. Nice job.
I
Fucking,
forgot TJ.
fucking
Well,
loser. Yeah, we were too
Did
busy
he
on a
fucking
helicopter.
Yeah. Chase and I and Brady were on a helicopter, and everybody else went to the Experiment Rhino,
Oh.
like a famous strip club in Vegas, and
Yeah.
TJ throw up at the strip club.
Yeah.
Yeah, too bad he didn't throw up in the helicopter up at
Oh.
and then have it rain down on some unsuspecting soul down below.
Yeah, because they just have the fucking doors open.
they think he's gonna jump, but he's just throwing up.
Fuck, if they would have had the doors open, I would have 100% jumped out of that plane.
And my suffering.
Yeah, 2K18.
That was 2K.
What a wild night.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was tough. But I mean, yeah, I think the last night when we all went out to the clubs and there was a lot of confusion going on. Shout out to Bradley, aka Brady.
Well,
Oh, just, what didn't you do? You blacked out. But it's a good old Brady. So they all got kicked out of the club except for me and Tristan and the girl I was with, and then
Hey, I got
good
you,
old
actually.
Rick, Rick
Out
Moore,
of that club.
Blake and Brady's dad. Didn't
Oh, yeah,
get
Brady's
kicked
my
out.
brother, by the way. Our other guest on the podcast. So we got some family ties in here. Okay, go on.
We're all family.
I got
So
Football's
I got in.
family. Eventually.
Oh yeah,
After I
Tyler
got
got in eventually, but that doesn't really count. So anyways, so everyone was pretty blacked out, and we all ended up, and it was 2 in the morning or whatever, and everybody's trying to figure out where everyone is, and the girl I was with left, and I got sad, and I
What
was
else is
pissed
new?
off. Yeah.
God.
Trying to get me back for the Buffalo
Yeah.
Wild Wings comment earlier
At
today.
least she didn't throw away his phone number.
Oh
should
yeah,
tell them
you
what the
missed a
joke
good
was.
one. So,
yeah.
so the Buffalo Wild Wings waitress earlier today when we were there, she was like, "Oh, she's like, sorry, Blake,
So I have to. So for Buffalo Wild Wings, we have rewards points. So we have to write down our phone numbers on the receipts to get the points.
That's
and I
not
was,
why he wrote his phone number.
Even
but
more
continue.
backstory. We all go to Buffalo Wild Wings every Sunday morning.
All right. So go on, Chase.
So to get those rewards points, he writes his phone number down, as we do every week. But she lost it and threw it away. So she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I threw away your number." And I was like, "Don't worry, that's not the first time that a girl said that to him." Pretty challenging. So let's focus on Vegas again. So we finally. So I can't remember who I was. I was with Mason, and I think I was with one other guy. That's when we walked past the sweaty dude.
Oh yeah, I was just
Tell the sweaty dude, and
okay.
then I'll go
So
back.
Chase,
The checkers guy?
Yes.
yeah. So
Yes.
Chase and I feel was Ethan with us or somebody
I
else?
think
was with us?
no, it wasn't Ethan. It wasn't Ethan. It was.
Get your facts straight before you come on the podcast, please.
Was it Tristan? I don't know. Somebody was with us.
Yeah.
So we're walking down the strip at like 3 in the morning last night. We're in Vegas, and this guy walks past us. He's probably 6'4", like 280, just solid muscle. Looks like just a big
Super
powerlifter.
tan.
Yeah, and he's shirtless, just dripping in sweat, walking down the Vegas Strip by
Is he in the
himself.
NFL?
Probably.
Does he use baby oil?
Add him to that list.
Yeah, but
He's
he
going for
walks
the new
past
Las
us,
Vegas Raiders.
and I don't know if he was yelling at us or just yelling to yell.
He was probably yelling at us.
Yeah,
I would.
but he just walks past and he's like, "Y'all are playing checkers while I'm playing chess."
And I've never been more frightened in my life.
And then
Since
the
I'm home.
face plants on the sidewalk.
Yeah,
I've never seen such a sweaty man, and all, I mean that guy was jacked though. Holy shit, he
Yeah.
was frightening.
He was
But
probably on drugs. Though.
Oh,
I'm
I-
sure.
100%.
yeah, no, he definitely was. But you know what? It's Vegas. You know, it stays in Vegas. And so we got back to the apartment, or not the apartment, the hotel room, and came up the elevator. I was like, man, I wonder where everyone else is. I wonder if anybody's back. And I turned the corner. And all of a sudden, it's like at the Mirage, it's like a Y, and we were the suite, which is like right at the base of where it like splits off, and that's where the room is. So there's a like an end table in the middle, and we turn the corner, and Ethan is just wandering around this table, in his underwear and a Mirage bathrobe, a Mirage pair of slippers, and a Mirage visor, and he's just circling around this end table, and then he just like looks up at us after like 15 seconds, is like, "Oh, hey guys," and then he puts his head back down. He just starts wandering around in circles, and we're like, "What the fuck?" So we open the door and we get in, and the place is fucking trash. We just see TJ just have his arms up, and he's like, "I don't know what to do." Brady's just in the fucking
was he
just
doing? Just sitting
raging.
down?
Oh, Brady's losing his fucking mind. He's throwing like fucking
ironing board.
he threw an ironing board across the fucking room, a
Brady-
whole ironing board. He threw fucking beer cans and
Oh, yeah.
shot glasses against the wall. This, oh god, it was
Brady is
fucking-
very scary and mean when he drinks.
He has a problem. So, and that's why we call him Blackout Brady. So, yeah, and I feel that was a pretty fun experience. But
Dude, then there was massive.
oh yeah, there was Massive. We forgot about Massive. Yeah, you tell the story about Massive.
All you, man.
I don't really remember.
I thought this was our
Massive.
podcast, but you guys can keep going. That's cool.
Yep, hold on.
You don't have any
He's kind
drinking
of a-
stories.
We're good.
He was a massive human being.
Froze up for a second. Freaking.
Wherever you are, massive. I miss you.
Yeah, we all missed you, Massive. You remember
Petiteness
Massive?
is my weakness.
Oh, you went
I
to.
never met Massive.
Oh, that was the same. That was at the time too, where this prostitute was actually hanging out. And she came up and she started talking to us, and and they were they were talking about pulling hair, and well, fucking, and I was just like, and she was like, oh god, she went and she like pulled my hair and was talking about it, and I was like, oh my god, and then or no, Tyler, she was talking about it. And Tyler was like, oh, you got to pull like hair like this, and
What?
then yeah, no, you pulled my fucking hair.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I do because it fucking hurt. And and I was like, no, Tyler. So I grabbed the fucking prostitute's head and I like pulled her hair. Her fucking like eyes like rolled into the back of her skull, and she enjoyed it a little too much.
Was that the cop?
No, what? What
Oh, my
coffin?
goodness.
Oh, the one that's
Oh,
in the videos
shit!
here.
Oh, yeah, that was another good one. There was this lovely street performers, and there was one that was a sexy cop, and I mean, she was pretty attractive. And
Fuck
so
the police, am I right?
yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm really drunk. I'll get some pictures with her, and so I get these very awful pictures, and
Sauce videos.
yeah, and Tyler was doing the honors of that, and then he posted it to my story. And I was like, you know what? That's probably a bad idea. So I deleted one of the things, but I was really drunk, so I forgot to delete the rest. So I woke up 2 hours later because it's Vegas.
You
You
went
know,
to sleep?
Yeah. You did too. We slept for like an hour and a half or so, and woke up, and then I realized I was like, oh shit! Like I didn't delete my story. So I went to go in and I deleted the rest of the stories, and then I looked to see who had seen the story, and out of the 6 people that saw my story, my mom was one of them. And needless to say, I got some interesting text messages from my mother.
I'm
So.
very happy my mom does not have a Snapchat.
So it didn't stay in Vegas.
It did not stay in Vegas. No, those pictures are still on my phone.
Damn social media.
God, I know.
There's another time that I had Chase's phone when we were very fucked up.
Oh, God.
And it was actually his mom's birthday. I Snapchatted her.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and told her about some things that Chase did. And
What a dick move. You're an
Yes,
asshole
bitch.
friend.
No. I told her that
They
Chase
weren't
had an
true.
STD now.
They weren't true, but...
Your mom doesn't know the difference.
Exactly.
All right, so going off of that crazy guy that you guys met in Vegas, I don't know if
Which one?
I don't know. I know Mason and Brady was there. Do you guys remember when we went to Taco Bell and that guy tried to fight Brady?
What?
He was up in his face
With
because he
like-
wouldn't let
because
him
he
borrow
went
his
to his
phone.
bar his phone. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was. Oh, I forgot about that. That was cool.
Yeah, it was terrifying. Should I tell the story or should you tell the story?
Yeah, go for it.
So I'm a very passive person. I like to think that I could defend myself in a fight, but if I see anything aggressive, I get all tense and my stomach starts hurting.
Is that why it's awesome?
So you're a big
Spoken
old
like a-
pussy, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Spoken like a true hero.
I'm quite the pussy. So this was back. I think it was like 3 years ago or so. But we're in a Taco Bell, and I remember
Where
we're all,
everything bad always happens at 3
It was
We're
a
going to
while
talk
back.
about North Point in Spokane, Washington. If you want to go fact check.
Yeah, you guys can visit. It's quite the landmark of the Deep Thots podcast. We'll be there every Saturday for pictures and meet and greets.
especially the bathroom. That's
There's
what
Saturdays
Yeah, right in the
fourth meal,
bathroom.
2 a.m. to 2:15 a.m.
We'll be
Anyways.
signing your 4th meals.
Yeah. Anyways, so it was about 3 years ago. We're all at this Taco Bell. It was me, Mason, Brady, and then a couple of our friends. We're about to go to Sky High, which we can talk about later. But we're all sitting at Taco Bell just talking about, I don't know, random shit. And there's this one weird guy, like, kind of sitting next to us at the table over. And we just started talking. All of a sudden, he said something. He, like, leaned in and he was like, hey, can I borrow you guys' phone? And I kind of, like, got quiet because I was talking and I heard him say it, but I didn't want to say anything. So I kind of just sat there in silence. And then everyone just kind of, like, looked at me because they didn't hear him.
Making it awkward.
I made it really awkward because I didn't want to answer the guy. And then he looked over again. And he's like, "Hey, can I borrow one of you guys' phone? My mom's in the hospital right now, and I really need to call her." And saying all this weird stuff. And we're like, "Oh no, like we don't have our phones." And he was like, "Oh really? Six kids in high school don't have phones on them? Yeah, that makes sense." And then Brady comes over here with, you know, the low-hanging balls of him. says, "Well, I have my phone, but I don't want you to use it." And so,
No, he said,
on the table.
yeah, he's like, well, Taco Bell has a phone that you could probably use. And the guy's like, well, can I just use your phone? And Brady's like, you can use Taco Bell's phone. With his phone literally sitting like right in front of him.
yeah, and so the guy's like, "Oh, what do you think? I'm gonna steal it?" And then Brady's like, "No, you could just use a Taco Bell phone." He's like, "Oh no, like I'm not gonna steal. Don't worry, I'm just kidding." And then like we're like, "Okay," and then he like kind of started walking away. He's like, "Well, maybe I will steal it," and started like getting in his face. And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh!" Like if this guy like touched it, like I was ready to throw down. Like I was shaking.
But you weren't going to.
I was shaking. I was
You were
shaking.
just ready.
I was shaking in the moment,
Throw down.
but I was waiting for him to tackle like one of us, and then me sit there in shock and watch and just wait for my chance while everybody else fights him. But so that happened. So he got in Brady's face, and then
Well, yeah,
we were all just sitting there. We were all pretty calm though. Like no one was
Yeah,
really
he was
saying
all freaked out
anything.
at Brady, and he's like, maybe I will steal your phone. You think you could fucking take me? Like I could fucking kick the shit out of you. And like starts like,
Yeah, and he,
Brady's just like, what is
1v1
going
me, bro.
yeah, and he was like, "How would we take this
1v1
out?"
Rust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was like, "How would we take this outside?" And Brady's like, no, it's fine." Like, there's only 6 of us. We would have kicked this guy's ass. And so, and he's
You wouldn't have. There was 5 of you.
yeah, it is 5 of us and one person screaming at the top of their lungs. And so eventually the guy just ended up leaving, and then Mason went to talk to the like manager about it, and they didn't care. And then
I mean, that's nothing for like a night employee at Taco Bell.
It was like midday. It was like
it was
noon.
like 4 o'clock.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, I was like, what
I
the
kept thinking
fuck?
this was like at night.
No, it was daylight.
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
God.
This was
2
right
a.m.
before Sky High Dodgeball Tournament. That's why we were
Yeah.
course it was.
So we literally walked outside, and then I was waiting for him just to be around the corner with like a pocket knife or something. So I was like kind of creeping out. I was the last one out of the Taco Bell. I was waiting for you guys. And then we got out of there, and then once we got in the car and drove like 10 miles away, I knew we were safe. But,
10 miles.
yeah.
Because
You
everybody
made
knows
sure-
that tweakers are super
Yeah.
human.
They are.
On cars.
Tweakers are fucking
Yeah, you made
fast.
sure you weren't being tailed to sky high at the trampoline park.
Yeah, exactly.
He's chilling in the back of the car, just sitting there like waiting
Yeah.
for you guys.
That was a pretty scary moment. You can go, Chase.
I was gonna say, did I tell you guys about what happened on? I think it was Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday night.
Very smart.
Oh yeah,
I
no,
don't think so.
this isn't a drinking story. This is just like probably a poor Chase decision that just.
Oh, you did tell it.
Yeah, I think I told some of you. I don't think I
Oh,
told
no.
Zach, and I don't know if I told you, Blake.
Oh, the two hosts of the podcast? Yeah, you should probably bring it up, please.
Okay, well, okay.
I need to know everything about you.
All right, well, okay, chill there, fam. You sound like one of my stalkers. Which, hey, that's actually
That
good.
was
I'll
on
get it.
my
We'll get
phone.
it.
That was on my phone as one of the topics. Please don't spoil it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm chilling. I'm working with one of my clients, and so I go and I leave his place where he works.
Oh, yeah, you
And-
did tell me this.
and,
You can
I
tell me.
think I've heard this.
I haven't heard it.
So I'm leaving, and this kid he's probably 18 at most, and he's chilling outside, and I'm walking, and I'm about to walk to my car, and he's got a backpack or whatever, and I was like, man, maybe this kid's just like in fucking like school or whatever, but I didn't pay any attention to it. But he was like, hey bro, he's like, do you think you could give me a ride to Sullivan and Sprague? And I was like, yeah, sure, man, hop in. And I was like, fuck, why did I say that?
Was he white?
No, he was black.
Oh.
See, I'm a good guy.
I was gonna say never trust white people, but I can't really say that joke now. So come on, Chase.
You could still say it, but I wouldn't.
Never
make it
trust
so-
white people.
Okay,
Come
there
on,
we go.
Chase.
so, I mean, I don't see color though, but whatever.
Welcome to the Deep Thoughts podcast. All
Yeah.
we talk about is fucking guys and racism.
The important.
No,
things.
was that the bad Chase mistake? You let a black guy in?
Yeah.
So anyway,
That's the end of the story. He got in my car.
Yeah, no,
He was a great guy.
Yeah, he was a great guy, and it was that. So anyway, so he hops in my car, and he's like, "Hey, bro," he's like, "You smoke weed?" And I was like, "No, I don't actually." And he's like, "Oh, okay, I just want to check if we can smoke." And I was like, "All right, whatever." And I was like, "I just don't." I was like, "Yeah." And
All
I was
right.
waiting for him to toke up in my car, but he didn't. So
Did he ask you for a lighter?
no, he didn't. So he goes ahead and he's just talking about he's from Seattle and other bullshit or whatever. But then he started looking through his backpack and I knew that if he did anything stupid, on Sprague there's a fucking police station right there. And if he pulled a gun on me or if he pulled a knife on me, I literally wouldn't care and I would pull into the police station and I would sit in my car. So because I don't give a fuck. So anyway,
Edgy.
edgy. So anyway, and it's like a couple minute drive, so I'm not that worried or whatever. So I'm talking to him or whatever, and he seems pretty nice. And so I'm thinking I'm just dropping him off at this, KFC, and that's that. So I get there, and all of a sudden he calls his friend. He's like, I don't know where my friend is, and he's like, yeah, I think he's over there behind the dumpster. And I'm like, wait, what? And he's like, and so he calls him, and he FaceTimes him, and his friend is like, I'm on the toilet 1 second. So he literally, so his friend
By the
fucking-
dumpster?
No. He was inside KFC.
Oh, okay.
So his
It's
friend
just a
comes.
cardboard box that says toilet on it.
Yeah. So his friend comes rolling out, and so anyways, he's like, hey, do you mind if I roll down your window? I'm like, that's a weird question, but okay. So I'm like, yeah, sure. So when he rolls down his window, and he shakes his friend's hand, but I noticed that when he did it, he looked like he had a plastic baggie in his hand, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, bro, I was like, when his friend left, I was like, are you dealing drugs? And he was like, no, man. He's like, I'm just giving my friend. And I was like, okay, then what'd you give him? And he was like, it was just shrooms, I mean. And I was like, dude, please leave my car. And he was like, no, man, it's super cold. And I was like, dude, I cannot. I'm actually trying to go places, and if I get fucking pulled over,
I'm actually trying to go places and take pictures of my
yeah,
life.
I didn't say it like that, but yeah, God, I felt really bad though because he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I do the same thing, bro. I'm so sorry. And I was like, it's cool, bro. I'm sorry. So Kyle, if you're out there, I'm sorry.
And then you piss
I
off.
still feel bad about it, but Please don't deal drugs out of strangers' cars. It's not cool to the stranger.
An important question is where can we get hands on these on this Kyle fella?
You can find him at the KFC on Spray.
Oh, God.
And so
Behind the dumpster.
I do not condone of any of this action.
medicinal fried chicken.
I did that one time. We were going camping, and then we stopped for a second to like look at the map. And then my friend had like ibuprofen, and he took one. And then the other friend was like, "Hey, I need some of that too." And then I handed him a plastic bag full of ibuprofen to the other window. I was like, "That probably looked like such a bad drug deal." So I was just driving by.
It's fine. It's fine. So yeah, there's my drug dealing story.
Another bad decision story. Anybody else have a fun bad decision story that they regret?
Oh God, that we regret?
Not really regret. I mean, there's a lot of things I regret in my life.
Anytime I drink, it's full of poor decisions. But I mean,
Is it a regret? I chose to drink.
Yeah, no regrets. Drink till you die.
I took a shot of 190 at Watershed earlier, and it, just straight 190. It was probably the worst experience. And I don't know if you guys have ever taken a shot of 190, but the only thing worse is throwing it up. Because your entire your throat and your nostrils just burn for 20 minutes after.
I don't even think I've heard of it.
Okay, well,
I took a shot of straight Everclear.
Pussy, you're not alone.
Hey, I was super drunk prior to that. Okay,
It's the proof of the alcohol, so 190 proof.
So that's
it's 95% alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Which vodka is 40%.
You know, it's always good when you see a flammable warning on the bottle.
Yeah.
Please do not smoke while consuming this beverage.
Yeah. Which I don't know who consumes it. I mean, I did, but that was just because I was dumb. When I was pouring out the drinks, the first cup I poured was like 2 shots worth, and I was like, "Oh, guess this one's mine." And everyone else is kind of looking at me like, "What the fuck's wrong with this thing?" And so then I ended up, but it was me actually instead of a shot, it was me drinking it, and it didn't really end very well for me, but I bounced back. I got really fucked up after that, so it didn't really change anything. So, high five. Thank you, Tyler. Making me feel good. That was the same day, though, oh, good Dylan. That was when I drank for Dylan for the first time. Yeah, he got me super drunk. Yeah, that
Dylan needs to come on the pod.
Yeah.
He's in Denver right now. I dropped him off the airport this morning at 4:30 a.m. because I'm too nice of a person to say no.
Nice.
You showed up here about 5 a.m.
I slept for an hour and then another hour. two separate times.
Well, you're just
the game got over midnight last night.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to sleep tonight with a Vikings loss.
Well, the perfect
Also
time to record a
fun.
pod is on 2 hours of sleep deprivation.
Yeah, damn right.
Deprivation.
Full of rum and coke.
Yeah. But that's that day that I drank with Dylan, though, I blacked out. I've never blacked out this much before, but the moment that I woke up at 8 a.m., I was drinking, and I probably blacked out close to around noon, and I don't remember anything up until about 6.
Podcast getting
And
sad.
then, anybody, hey mom, if you're listening, I'd like to apologize in advance.
Jermaine Affetti, we are not alcoholics on this podcast. Please do not judge our actions.
Oh, God. So, yeah, and then I sobered up for a couple hours when we got to the concert. And then I brought my my folding what's the Tommy chair, the one
Tommy Bahama?
Yeah, I brought my Tommy Bahama chair into the pit at Watershed. Dude, there were some bitches that were pissed at me. Oh my God. So I gave it to my cousin, then he went away, and I didn't care because I was so fucking drunk. But
What's the pit?
oh
You'll
God,
have to go.
it's just
just
where
go.
all the children are standing up right up against the stage. That's what they call a pit. Come on,
Chase
man.
brought a chair there like an asshole.
Wow.
I didn't realize it's like a backpack. So I
You get one of those
just-
recliner chairs that has
That's what it is. Yeah,
We
but
have one right outside with a
really-
hole in it.
Yeah, I gave it to my cousin though, and then he went up on the hill. So I wasn't an asshole for long. That was actually the time though where I actually promised to get J-Dog a burrito. So I held on to that burrito during the concert for fucking 5 hours. I held on to that fucking burrito. Okay. Guess who never got the burrito?
J-Dog.
J-Dog.
Why don't you just eat the damn burrito after the third
Because
hour?
I already had one, okay, and I wasn't that hungry, but there was a point to be made, and that she was gonna get her fucking burrito.
J-Dog, if you're listening, you know who you are. Chase loves you.
That's literally watching Emperor's New Groove 3 times while holding the same burrito. That's ridiculous.
That's how I tell time too. How many times did I watch Emperor's New Groove back to back?
So there was actually a guy, and he was like. So I'm holding to this burrito awkwardly, but I'm still super fucked up from earlier. So I'm just chilling there, and this guy accidentally kind of bumps into my hand with the burrito in it, And he's like, oh, he's like, are you happy to see me? And I just pulled up my burrito. I was like, no, it's just my burrito, bro. And he just fucking lost it. But I ended up, so we finally left, and then I got punched in the face on accident because...
Didn't you punch a girl in the face, too?
karma
No,
for the year.
okay.
No, that was the year before.
Okay, that was the year before. I high-fived her.
That was a separate
In the face.
She deserved it.
Joe Nixon, her ass. Sit down.
If it makes you feel better, he got a number because of it.
Yeah, I kind of did. I mean,
For
I did.
insurance
Yeah,
purposes?
insurance purposes.
Yeah.
You go to court.
So, I mean, like, it wasn't totally my fault. I mean, we high-fived. It was her fault because she held on to the hand too long. Miscommunication. Hands,
it was her
hands
fault.
went
She-
flying.
She
and
tripped.
she
She fell down the stairs.
Yeah.
That happens to me a lot. Whenever I high five a girl, I always just punch her in the face.
like I said, I got her number. But real quick, though, Deep Thoughts Podcast does not blame victims.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh,
We do
I
not
should-
support domestic violence, but we have committed some, Chase. Isn't that
I should edit
right?
that out and put like a little PSA in there.
Yeah. Please do not listen for the rest of the podcast. We are intoxicated. Please do not take these words into account.
Nothing
So,
you say can be held against
so
us.
Faye Lynn, if you're hearing this, I'd like to sincerely apologize for punching you in the
Faye
face.
Lynn?
Yeah, that was
Faye
her name.
Lynn.
Was
Faye
it?
Lynn. Yeah, that's straight up her name was Faye Lynn. It's
Sounds
kind of hard to
That
forget
sounds like
that
a
name.
villain in
She
like.
deserves to get punched in the face.
That sounds like a villain in
Whoa.
like Fast and the Furious Tokyo
Wow.
Drift.
Yeah.
Tokyo. Yeah, but anyway, so we're leaving the pit. And like two guys just started like fucking fighting each other. The one punched the other dude, and he like threw his head back, and then I got headbutted.
See, if I saw that, I would just tense up real quick. I'd get out of that. I would
Actually, no,
leave
I-
that situation,
That
Chase.
is an avoidable situation.
One, I didn't drop my burrito.
Well, obviously.
Two,
Dude.
I split them up, and then the dude started freaking out,
what a
flailing,
good
and
guy.
then I almost got punched again, and I was like, I don't know these guys. Why
Can
am
you
I doing
imagine
this?
just being in the middle of a fight and you just see some guy with just this long ass hair breaking it up
With
and
the
in one
burrito.
hand it's a fucking burrito shoving in your face? You're like, alright, I need to get out of this
I'd probably
situation.
take
I'm
a
not
bite
with
of
the
the
right
burrito.
people.
Yeah, so I went back to my campsite, and this burrito by this point is looking just awful. It is the saddest
It's like that
looking
episode
burrito.
of SpongeBob where that Krabby Patty just
Oh.
sits there for
Oh,
a long
yeah.
time. Give it to the health inspector.
It's kind of sad.
It was a pretty.
I think you're gonna see the one where he's like in love with the credit.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Dates one
That's
for a
what
month.
I'm
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But
There's some
I
love
got
with that
back to
burrito
the
you gotta
campsite.
touch.
You know, I made the 30-minute trek back to the campsite. Still had the burrito, and I put that bitch on the table.
What a trooper.
Yeah, and yeah, the burrito never found its home though. And then I got super smashed because I went over to a neighbor's campsite. We were
Another
joking
special
around.
guest on the podcast. We have the burrito with us today to tell us its story of the amazing
Yeah.
journey.
Chase
was
is
gonna
still
say-
carrying it around waiting
Yeah.
for the dog.
Yeah,
Oh, I
Burrito,
wish.
if you're listening to this, Chase is sorry.
J-Dog doesn't deserve you.
Nobody does, except for my mother. I love you, Mom. I don't say it enough, damn it. Deep
Well, that was
thoughts.
random.
What about Dank Dog Dan?
Oh god, dang dog Dan. The triple D.
Don't get Chase started again.
There's a lot of
There's so many
stories in this
stories.
watershed experience. Yeah.
This is only part one. This is going to be a 5-part, 5-hour episode.
The Ken Burns documentary.
Let's record 5 episodes back to back.
Yeah, and then
Back,
shortly
back,
thereafter,
back.
I'll end it on this note: is I think I might have drank I drank somebody else's drink, and I don't know what was in it. Other
Oh,
than
that's always smart.
yeah, well, they were like, hey, I was like, we were playing beer pong against our neighbors. It was like 3 a.m. and they were like, I was like, what's in this drink? And they were like, I mean, like vodka and lemonade. I mean, you can have it if you want, but I wouldn't drink it. And I was like, bitch. And then I drank this full. So I drank the full thing of. It was, you know, like a 16-ounce water bottle, just like filled with, and I chugged the whole thing. And then they were like,
nice.
they were like, that was pure vodka. And I was like, oh, well, shit. So I got pretty sick. I was hungover for literally like 2 days. I didn't drink anything on Sunday.
It's always those moments when you have that feeling when like people like it, when you're really drunk and you drink a lot of something and people kind of look at you in awe and like you don't think it's a big deal,
And then you
you
realize.
kind of just have like that minute of just like, okay, I think I'm okay, and then it gets to a minute and you're just like, "Ah," and you're just like, fuck, and then the rest of the night it's
the
just a
ground just
nightmare.
comes up and hits you. In the
I
side.
literally,
Yeah, exactly.
I just
That
turned to
girl
my,
came out of nowhere.
I just turned to my cousin.
Yeah,
I was
so
like,
that-
I was like, Zach, I was like, I need to take a walk, and I just fucking did some figure eights for a while in the grass, the long grass at Watershed. Yep. And then I actually stayed awake for another 3.5 hours roaming around the wonderful world of Watershed. And I hopped. We were in an enclosure, and I hopped out of it over the fence because I didn't
a
want to
zoo.
walk around. it
escaped
is a
animal.
fucking zoo. Have you ever been to Watershed?
The hunter's like, take him out. And he shoots at the tranquilizer. That's what the hangover was, just you being tranked.
Yeah.
And
This
then
is reminding me of when you got roofied and blacked out and woke up in a bathroom.
All right, we'll take care of that next episode.
I was gonna say that we've been a little. There's too many.
I have an interesting. Since you brought up the ground coming up and hitting you in the face, I have another drunk story that I could bring up. Brady was involved in this. Wasn't that right, Brady?
It was more you. I was just kind of there.
Yeah, Brady was there though. So this was Dad's weekend. Rick Moore comes back into the limelight.
Rick Moore, what a guy.
So it was 2 years ago. It was for Dad's weekend at WSU, where Brady also graduated from. I pretty much follow everything he does. Same school, same major. You know, we have the same attractions for the same women. It's quite the problem. But so anyway, so it was Dad's weekend, and I basically went. So Brady was in a fraternity at the time, and I got in too to the party, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna get drunk. So I drank a lot, and there was at one point in the night where, you know, we're having a pretty good time, and I was like, you know, I'm feeling good, like I feel loved, and then I had to go to the bathroom, so I went behind. So we were all outside. It was like under a tarp. It was really late at night, and there's like fires going and like a live band. So I went behind him, and there's this like hill of rocks, and I was like, okay, like I gotta pee. So I unzipped and I started peeing. And then I heard a noise come from the side street. So I kind of look over, and I'm just like, I wonder what that is. And then when I looked over, I just got so disoriented that I literally just started falling towards the rocks. And the world, and like, literally the world was just coming at me, and I was like, and then I just turned my face and just smashed my face against the rocks. And then I was like, oh shit. And I was like, and then I like stepped back and almost fell on my back. And this was all while peeing. Like, yeah, like dick out and everything. And so I'm just like, oh man. And then I'm still peeing. And then I kind of just stand there. I'm steady now. And I finished peeing, and I like wiped the blood off my face. I'm like, oh, this is bad. And it was all like dark. Brady's loving this. So I walked back over to where my dad and Brady is standing, and it's a fucking bloody lip. Well, no, so I got blood all over my hands. So I walk up to my dad, just like super drunk, and I'm like, hey, I'm bleeding. And then he first looks at my hand because he thinks I cut my hand, and I'm just like, no, it's my face. And then you just see all this blood over my mouth, and he was like, oh my gosh.
Before you came back, me and Dad were just like hanging out with the group that we were like kind of talking to beforehand. He said he had to go to the bathroom. It was like 15 minutes later, like, where's Blake?
It felt like 2 minutes later.
It's been a while. Like, I don't know where he is. And he came back with just his, like, chin all bloody and everything. He's like, yeah, I fell when I was peeing.
I just smashed my lip on the rock. My lip hurt so bad the next day. But so I went back to my...
Glasses are broken, too.
Did they? I wasn't wearing glasses.
I thought you...
No. My glasses were already broken in the first place.
I drove in with my glasses one time, and it happens.
All right, but so I'm back. So I'm back to my dad and Brady, and then I went to the bathroom and cleaned up all the blood. And then eventually later that night, I puked a lot, and then they have
destroyed my beanbag couch.
all right, settle down. I'm clean, whatever. But and then there's a video of me in the bathroom talking about the experience while really drunk, and then my dad showed me
I think I saw
video.
that picture.
Yeah, there's a picture.
Isn't
of
your
it.
dad like giving a thumbs up while you're puking in the toilet?
No, Brady was giving the thumbs up. But yeah, my dad recorded a video of me talking about the experience, and they were just laughing, and I was having the time of my life over that toilet. But fun memories. So,
Oh god.
speaking of fun memories, Brady, since you're my brother, the brother of the best host of the official of the Deep Thots podcast. Oh man,
Shots fired, Zach.
yeah. Everybody knows it. But what's your? Do you have any fun memories of our childhood? We spent a lot of time together growing up.
Yeah, our childhood was fun.
I just remember whenever I would come over, there would be at least 1 or 2 times where Blake and Brady would get in a fight, and then Blake would run upstairs crying.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a pretty fun moment. Looking back on my time, I always just wanted to be friends with Brady's friends, and now I feel like I am friends with them. Now that they're on my podcast 10 years later, yeah, finally
He
weeded
just
myself
came into
in.
my house with a microphone and was like, here I am.
We're not friends.
Welcome to Deep Thoughts podcast. You're live, Mason. But yeah, it was always weird growing up because me and Brady being so close in age. Because we have another older brother who may be on the podcast eventually, maybe with my little nephew. But he's also 1 month old right now. But he'll be a guest.
Podcast's gonna last for years.
We're gonna have like a 1-year-old of the Deep Thots podcast.
It's just gonna be him just crying, and I'm just be like, "Why are you crying?" But yeah, so we have another older brother who's 29 now. So he's 9 years older than me, 7 years older than Brady. But me and Brady, we're only 2 years apart. So growing up, we always, kind of did everything together.
Like that.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It took me a couple years to figure out those numbers, but
The algorithm.
yeah. So me and Brady were always pretty close. It was always kind of weird because I always kind of hung out with like Brady's friends. He didn't care about my friends, but I always hung out with his friends.
Yeah, fuck you, Zach.
Yeah, Brady likes Zach. But it was always weird because I was like, oh, like you guys are pretty close to my age, but I'm still just kind of the annoying younger brother. But I still had fun hanging out with you guys, and I was like, man, like I just want to hang out with these guys. And then now it's all come full circle to where I do get to hang out with you guys, and it's not super weird.
Now you don't get your shit rocked every time you try and hang out with.
Yeah, now I can beat Brady in a fight. Since
Ooh, next episode on Deep Thoughts Podcast.
We should have
Brady
a
versus
live.
Blake.
We should have a fight right now, only audio.
Just
Blake like, stop it! Stop it!
Yeah, that could be one of two things.
Typewriter.
me and Brady have a fun story about in high school where we had this situation where we'd always like. So growing up, we'd always like real fight to where I'd just get really angry and then I'd smash something and then go cry to myself. but once I got older and I got a little bit beefier, we started doing these fights where basically the rules were this. Basically the rules was that I say go whenever I want and then we just start fighting. And the only thing we can punch is arms, a little bit of stomach, not as hard as you can. It's like arms, thighs, and then a little bit of stomach, and that's all you can do for the fight. And so we can literally just be sitting on the couch watching like SpongeBob, and I can say go, and I can just jump on him and just start punching him as hard as I can. And then basically the whole rule was that after about 20 seconds of me punching him as hard as I could, he would eventually like flip me around and start punching me. So I had to wait a minute before I could say stop.
Oh God!
And Chayce just got punched by Tyler, so
Tyler's a lot bigger than me. Oh.
Chayce is pretty meaty though himself.
No, God. Not in the ways I want to be, though. Oh, got him.
just down low, not up high.
No. Sad day. Yeah. Sad Thots podcast.
Yeah. welcome to the Lonely Boys podcast with our 4 guests. I forgot that. Yeah, Mason is our. We always talk about Mason on our other episodes because he's our only fan. So, he's finally made it onto the podcast. He won the sweepstakes.
I'm the most famous person on this podcast, according to this podcast.
Do you ever
Except for last week when I was the person who will not be named because I don't need an ego boost. Well, here I am, bitches.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever talk about me?
Maybe a little.
Actually, yeah, I've heard him a couple times. So
Yeah, I don't
Did we
know.
talk about you?
Out of all the episodes, it's hard to keep track.
Yeah.
You talking shit about how we only
13.
have one episode? Is that you throwing shade right
We
now?
have 13 plus a bonus, so I mean we've got some ground to cover.
And the only reason it's a bonus is because we cut out 20 minutes.
Yeah. it was a rough day. It was our 3rd episode in the same week. And we had nothing to talk
we
about.
did 3 episodes in 4 days.
Oh my gosh! After that episode, I thought I was gonna quit. I was like, I'm done with this shit. But here I am. Luckily, you fans.
Perseverance.
Yeah. Here's another fun topic. 4 days from now is Thanksgiving.
Oh, yes.
Can we all give thanks for something that we are thankful for?
Thank you.
Besides this podcast, Tyler. What are we thankful for?
I said my first name for the National Fucking League with Sam Darnold, so I'm
You're
going to go
thankful
last. So I'm going last is what I'm saying.
Last order. Who went last in the fucking league? Brady, was that you? What are you thankful for, Brady?
I'm being out of school.
Being done with school. What a fun life. You're just sick of learning.
I feel it.
I wish I could be out of school. I still got a year and a half left of complete bullshit. Anybody else? What are you guys thankful for?
Being out of school.
Being out of school. Yeah. Awesome.
I was literally talking about the same thing.
Mason, what are you thankful for?
I was going to say I'm thankful for December 7th because
he'll be out of school
that is
and
my
I still have a
last
year and a half
day-
left.
That was my last day of college.
Never forget.
Only took me
Nice.
4.5 years.
And then the day after is my 21st.
Hey.
Woo! Let's get fucked. Yeah.
Can't wait till I turn 21 in like 2 years. It'll be fun.
If we're still alive by then.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, speaking of school, I had a pretty fun moment those last week when I took a test where the equations were supposed to be on it, and my professor said, hey, don't learn the equations, they'll be on the test. And then we got to the test, and they weren't on there. And I said, hey, didn't you say you're going to put the equations on there? And he said, nope,
And
I'm supposed to know them.
And they said pranked you.
Yeah, pranked it, gotcha.
Did
Have
he
fun
really?
failing. He literally did this.
He said prank to you?
No.
Great.
But yeah, this guy's a fucking asshole. He's a real dick. Well, English isn't his first language, so he's really hard to understand. And he's just really mean, and he basically
So
just
he's a dick because he's not a native speaker?
Exactly.
Wow.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I don't know what the full
Wow.
circle. Yeah, full circle. Kyle's okay, but this guy.
Maybe he needs
Yeah.
to meet your old English teacher for American Lit.
We already talked about that.
But
But
Can I please say
Yeah,
her
hey,
name?
hey.
I've been waiting.
no.
Fuck her, I had her too. She was the worst.
Yeah. The same woman that tried to ruin my blog ruined Mason's life. Isn't that right, Mason? She was just the worst.
Wait, I didn't hear
She
about
was
this.
nice to me.
Oh no, dude!
No, she was just bad.
She was a bitch.
Wait,
But
hold
Still
on.
all the
So also the same guy that fucked me over on that test, he also tried to get Brady kicked out of his major.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Damn.
Damn.
So fuck him.
He accused you of cheating.
Yeah, he accused Brady of cheating.
How could a cute little
Our
face
sweet
like
son
that cheat?
Brady. Oh my
I got
goodness.
accused of cheating in high school one time.
Was it because
But
you
that's
were?
because I was cheating.
I actually have a cheating story. One of the reasons why. So in my chemistry class, I'm really bad at science, and so it's
I think I am also involved in this story somehow separately.
But
Is it like in high school?
yeah.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
so it was like junior year, and it was for the final, and I'm pretty sure I had like a C going into or I had a B going into the final test. And I remember I was talking to my friend Teddy, and my friend Teddy's really social. You know, he's friends with everybody, and so we had a lot of like underclassmen in our chemistry class. And I did not study at all for the final. I was like, man, I'm so worried. And then the night before, one of the underclassmen was like there's like a little hallway or like a little room connected to our classroom, and he was in there taking a different like quiz or something, and he found the test answers to the final. So he took a picture of it and he sent it to Teddy, and Teddy got it, and then Teddy sent it to me because I was like, oh, and then I like Teddy said it. He was like, yeah, here's the test answers, and just like all my morals, I was just like, I could not do this. And I was like, I cannot cheat on this test. I'm just gonna. I don't know why. I'm just a pussy and everything. Fighting, school, everything. I'm just. I wish I could be different. And so Teddy sent me the answers, and I just didn't bother looking at them. I was like, oh no, like I'm just not gonna use them. And so I don't know if he used them at all. But these underclassmen were so stupid. They would get like 70s on every test, and then the final they all just got 100s because they didn't bother to intentionally miss a couple because they're fucking idiots. And so I took the test, and I was like, you know, I think I'm going to be rewarded. I had good morals. I didn't cheat. I'm just going to guess on all these answers, and I think I'm going to get a good grade. And so then the next day, he was like, okay, I'm going to give you guys your test scores so you can like come see them. And then he's like, but first off, there are some rumors that I think are actually true, that I think you guys, some of you guys found the answers to the test, and I have strong belief that you guys cheated. So I'm not going to count this score like for or against any of you guys, or like, it's something weird. He was like I'm not going to count this test. You're just going to get the grade you have and just get it for the rest of the semester. And I had a B- going into that test, and I was like, sweet, I'm going to get a B in chemistry. And so he's like, but if you want to see what your score is, I'll call you up individually one by one, and you'll see what your score was. And then when I went up there, he was like, yeah, you got a 50 out of 100. And I was like, yes.
So what's also funny is because
you didn't cheat.
I was in a different period, and so since his class cheated, our class grades didn't count against us; it only counted for us. And I had like a 72 in the class, and so I needed to get at least a C, and I got like a 59 on the test. So because another class cheated, I ended up passing.
So me and Zach, I got a fucking B because some stupid idiot started cheating on the test, and I got a fucking 50%. I failed it so hard, and I'm so happy.
I kind of want to hear how this teacher ruined Mason's life.
Yeah, let's hear about our
curious.
Oh no, I mean it wasn't
English
anything bad.
teacher.
She just hated me. It was just so.
What teacher are you talking
It's
I'm
not like
not allowed to say her. She was the American lit teacher.
The one who tried to ruin my blog, the best thing I've ever made. Did you know Dad didn't know about my blog?
What?
I told him about it last week, and then he was like, "Oh, that's funny that you made that." And I was like, "It's pretty fucking awesome, Dad."
Side note about Blake's blog.
Oh,
What has happened to the Bill Sims Twitter page?
the Bill Sims, he might make a triumphant
Dude,
return.
I was looking at my
Oh,
feed
yeah.
the other day, and I was like, I follow Bill Sims.
Me-
Whatever happened to Bill Sims?
Me and Blake made that during like a really late night
Oh
of
my
Rocket League.
God.
I was like,
No,
I
it's
was like,
because we were sitting there playing, and I remember. So this was a time when I was trying to lose weight, and I was trying to get healthier and working out. It wasn't really working, and this was like last year, and so I bought a bunch of protein milk, and we were playing Rocket League, and I was like. It was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna go on protein milk. And then Zach was like, that sounds like what an 8-year-old person would say.
like tweet on Twitter.
Yeah. So we just started talking about just random tweets that an 8-year-old would make. And I just like put them in all like my saved tweets and just like kept just a list of a bunch of them. Like thanks for the card, Phil, with a little this smiley face emoticon. And it was just the dumbest shit. And I was like, I'm gonna make this profile and it's gonna get big. And it got like 20 followers. It was some funny shit. Oh my gosh. I loved using that account.
When's the last time you posted on it? Like February?
Yeah,
or
It was a
something?
while
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, totally.
There's some good ones. My My favorite one. Actually, I'm gonna look it up.
Your next tweet to be like, "No, I'm not dead. I just
Yeah, I was in a coma for 9 months. But I'm gonna look at my favorite one. You guys keep talking. Talk about Bill Sims. What about it? What was
Bill
fun?
Sims, or should I go back to high school?
I want to hear this.
Okay,
high
well,
school.
hold on.
Let Mason talk about his
Back
next
when
one.
Mason was never late to that class ever.
No, okay, so that's why she hated me. So at our high school, when you're a senior, you can either take a full schedule, or if you're like already have enough credits where you're going to graduate on time, you can take either late arrival or early release. So you can have like not have a first period or not have a sixth period if that's possible for you. So I didn't have first period, and my second period class was American Lit with Miss Bitchhole herself.
Oh,
And
That's her real name.
Yeah.
That's her real name. She has a child.
oh, I feel sorry for that child.
Seriously.
Mitchell Jr.
Well, the thing is, I had her sophomore year and senior year. Sophomore year, I really liked her. I was like, this is a fun class. And senior year, I was like, I fucking hate this bitch. She
I
was
hate
ruining
her.
my life.
But, I mean, 8:15 is pretty early, but I had to show up at like 9:05 or whatever, and even that was just too early for me, so I rolled into American Lit a couple minutes late pretty much every day, and she really hated me for it. And then one day she like pulled me out of the class and told me that if I showed up late again, she was going to give me a truancy and like all this stuff, and I was just like, wow, I don't see why you have to be like that, but alright. Yeah, and then there was that whole thing with the water. Was that you who stole all the
I
water?
stole all the water.
Oh my god. So we did this project. Was that for Grapes of Wrath?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we were,
so, okay.
we were being the Jodes. And
Yeah.
And Tyler took the
Yeah. Okay, so we
Stealing water
Yeah,
bottles.
no. So our
polar bears.
class read Grapes of Wrath, which if you've ever read Grapes of Wrath, I'm sorry, but
I like the book.
I read
thought
it.
was
It's
decent.
fucking stupid.
that book has the craziest ending ever. It's just like
They suck titties.
Yeah, she literally breastfeeds an adult, and then the book is over. That's the end of the book.
Oh
Okay.
my
I just
gosh.
spark noted
Going,
the tip
yeah.
part.
Oh my god. Okay, go
It
back.
was really hard for me because we were talking about that in class, and then I had to make a presentation right after, and it was hard to walk in front of the class with a big ass boner. I was like, oh my gosh, some fresh titties for some bums.
No, but so we had this project for Grapes of Wrath where it was like she was trying to be fancy, and it was like a couple people
We
were
had
like
4 businessmen or whatever.
Yeah,
and then
and-
we each got a card of what kind of business person you were.
Yeah, and then there were some people who were like the bankers, and then you basically had to like go around the room and talk to people and like
Oh yeah,
try
Teddy
and
slapped me during that
advance through the game. I don't know, it's really hard to
Yeah,
explain.
she
Yeah,
slapped me.
But you had to like, you're
remember
basically
that.
the goal
You
was
were
to like
the
move
closer.
across
Oh, wait,
the
no, you
country without like dying, I guess.
It's like Oregon Trail.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
literally
kind
what
of,
it was.
pretty much like Oregon Trail. But it was using like little paper cards. Well, one of the paper cards that you had to get was for water because you needed water rations to like survive through your journey.
I remember this game. I
'Cause
can't
you're
believe you
gonna
stole the
die.
water.
So
Oh, no,
Tyler,
it's
just-
being the asshole that he is, went to the banker and convinced him.
No, I was up front.
I don't remember exactly how it worked.
So like we had the 4 people up front. Like there was like business owners and
Yeah, I was
that
also
were
one of those
selling
people.
stuff.
Yeah.
like we were selling everything.
Yeah, okay, that's what it
And
was.
so my card told me that it like told you what you were, and on my card it said you're a crooked business owner. It's like okay.
Crook.
So I saw
Crooked.
whatever.
You're leaning a little to the left, Tyler.
I saw this bag full of all of the water cards just chilling there on the side. So I got up, walked across the room, picked it up, and put it in my backpack.
Yeah, which sucked because I was
You just
also...
got into character. There's nothing wrong
no,
with that.
so
I
I
just
was
made
also one of the
monopolize the
business
water.
owners, and the problem was people are coming to me to buy water, but
And
I
tires
don't.
and everything.
But I don't have any water because I can't get any more because
It's like Mad
Tyler
Max.
stole all of it.
Yeah.
I
And
monopolized it.
So Tyler monopolized the water in this fake game where you're supposed to get water for like $1 or whatever. Tyler was charging like $50 for the water.
Welcome to the real world.
So like,
Grapes of Wrath.
so he's like, yeah, $50, and you can't get water anywhere else, and you'll die if you don't have it. So Tyler just ended up like winning the game because like he made all this crazy money because he's an asshole. And yeah,
Oh,
well,
and-
and it was stupid because like whoever did the best got extra credit in the class, and so
I
Tyler,
respect that.
being the dick that he is, like did that, and then she ended up like giving all of us extra credit because it was like some,
You're welcome.
Yeah, okay.
But no, fucking like
You
there's
still
also
got extra credit?
yeah. I got more extra
Well,
credit.
she's like, well, I was actually just gonna give everybody extra credit. Bitch, no, you weren't.
But no, fucking. And there's also like tires and food, and I'd see people going over to other people and trying to buy tires. Like, hey, I'll throw in 5 gallons of water if you buy tires for me for $50 more. And they're like, okay. And so they'd come over and they'd lose all their sales to me.
Wow, what a swindler.
Yeah,
You
like
hoodwinked him.
I was one of the sellers, and then I gave someone Teddy a price that was too high, and he literally slapped me in the face in class. And no one else saw it. I was like, did everyone else see that? I see him slap me in the face.
So I'm confused by this transition. So are you thankful for this teacher?
Yeah, what are we thankful for?
Yeah, I was gonna say like we took
We're
a.
still waiting to see what Chayce is thankful for.
Oh, I thought Tyler
No,
had
you're
to go.
first.
Okay, I guess I'll go.
Welcome to the Deep Thoughts podcast. We don't really stay on topic right now. Anybody got any drunk stories?
I thought this whole podcast
stories?
was going to be National fucking League themed.
Yeah. No,
It's fine. We can always. That could be a weekly
We'll circle
thing.
around.
Yeah.
Who would
We
you
got
fuck this
oh,
week?
We got another hour left on the podcast. We got one more time.
Yeah, instead of your waiver claim of the week, because you're fucking the week.
Hey, you picked the same one I did. Damn it.
I had priority.
Yeah.
That means you have to Eiffel Tower them.
I'm first on the waiver wire.
I get the mouth. All right, Chase, what are you thankful for?
happening?
No homo.
Not so
Chase, what are you
funny.
thankful
Okay, I got
for?
two things I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for this podcast.
We already said not to say that.
Well, I don't care.
You're not allowed to say your
We
second
don't
now.
remember
No.
because it's been an hour since then.
Okay.
This is
What
chaos.
I'm actually thankful for,
Right?
I'm thankful for being single because I just love having
Show
all
off.
this extra time, with my life, and
I love
playing
getting
guitar
pwned every night of the
yeah,
week.
Yeah, just
I thought right after you said that, you were going to start breaking down crying.
No, I just really enjoy crying myself to sleep every night. It just really,
It gives me a lot more free time to cry.
Yeah, it really does. So yeah, that's what I'm thankful for. Thank
I
you,
like to have
Zach.
a nice cry between 9 and 9:30 every night.
That's the sad boy hours.
Sad boy hours.
Hey, I gotta take a break from Halo. I gotta go meet a client. Just take out the headset, just lay down in your bed. All right, guys, I'm back. Let's play.
It's always 45 minutes on the
I've
dot.
noticed that Chase is always go for exactly 30 minutes.
You guys got
You know what I'm thankful for? I'm thankful for scented candles. No more explanation. What are you guys thankful for?
Depends on what the scent is.
They smell pretty
Doesn't
good.
matter. They do smell good. My room
Should we
smells
light that
like
one right there?
disappointment.
You guys want to light up?
Chase, you got a lighter?
It wasn't light up. Chase, you smoke weed?
You got a
Kyle
lighter?
wants to know.
Eat the candle wax.
Yeah. So speaking of being single, you guys get any fun dating stories? You guys on Tinder at all? You guys any funny Tinder stories? I remember one time, I think about this fucking every night. Chase tells me about this one girl who said that, yeah, he's like a 10 for looks, but he has
Oh my God.
but he has really bad personality.
That wasn't a Tinder. That was a real person.
That was that's a real bitch. So
See, the thing about Chase,
she's not there. She's a lovely human being. I can't remember your name, but
she's
I
not
like
listening
you.
to this. Who cares?
She works at Krispy Kreme, I'm pretty sure, doesn't
Chase is a pretty handsome guy, but his personality is definitely the best part about him. But this cunt, said
Okay, that's a short
Hey.
word.
we can bleep that out.
Welcome to the Deep Cut
Yeah.
podcast.
Welcome to the Deep Cunt podcast. So,
Wow.
actually,
Actually,
that's
Chase's
marketable.
mom isn't listening
Speaking
now.
of, speaking of that, some of my coworkers this summer said that the C word. I'm not going to say it again. Some of my coworkers said the C word is as bad as the N word. And I was like, I don't think so.
To a lot of people, I think, but I don't know. Fucking-
What?
you know.
Yeah, because women.
So
have
if I
definitely
say
had
the
more
C word, a bunch
oppression
of
than
black people
I
are
don't
gonna beat me
know.
up?
I feel like if I had to walk out into public and just yell one of those to the top of my lungs,
I'd
I would
probably
say
do
the
that
C
one.
word.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever.
Yeah.
I would totally say crap at the top of my lungs.
Cookies and cream.
Yeah, anyway, so this lady, the C word, said, "The see you next Tuesday." She said that Chase was 10 for looks and had a bad personality, and that just blows my mind every night.
no
every
personality.
night.
Yeah, it wasn't even
Yeah.
a bad personality. It was a no personality because I worked.
He doesn't stop talking.
Yeah,
Listen
I
to
can't
it.
listen to my voice. I just can't. I try and I just keep talking.
Welcome to the Chase podcast, episode 14. I'm glad to be your guest.
Do you have like sound effects for that? Like,
Dung.
Anytime I just start talking, just keep it in.
Podcasts have vicious drops.
Every time before Chase talks, we play the intro again.
Talons.
So where were
Well,
we?
I got yelled at for talking, so I was
Do we have
gonna
any
be quiet.
any fun single Tinder stories?
I can actually tell a story that has to do with Tinder and Vegas.
Yes.
oh,
So
We did not know about it because we were not invited to this Tinder party or this Vegas party.
It wasn't a dinner party.
Okay, so when we got to
Orgy
Vegas,
with friends.
going full circle all the way back to Vegas. So when we got to Vegas, Rick, who's Brady Blake's dad, was like, "Yeah, you guys have fun, do whatever you want. My only rule is do not bring any girls back to the room ever. He's like, the thing with Vegas is there's a lot of like girls in Vegas who will flirt with you and try and like get with you so that they can come up to your room and steal all of your things. So he's like, you guys are all staying in the same room. Like, there's 8 of you staying in this big, huge room. It's a bad idea to bring anybody back to your room because if they're one of those people,
It's a gold mine.
it's going to fuck over everybody.
Yeah.
So he's like, so do whatever you want, but if you want to go get with a girl, you do you, but just go back to her room. That's my only thing. And everybody's like, okay. And so you know what our good buddy Tristan does? Right when we get to Vegas, he hops on Tinder. First girl he matches with tells her to come over.
Oh, that's right. She did come over. I totally forgot.
So
Yeah,
we're
we all
all
walked in there.
just chilling in our room, playing cards, drinking booze, having the time of our lives. And this random fucking bitch shows up at our door. And we're like, who are you? And Tristan's like, oh, I matched with her on Tinder and told her to come over. And so we're like, all of us are just like, what? Like,
Wasn't she like 17?
No, I was gonna say she was like 18.
yeah, she was definitely pretty young. Because
But
she
she-
definitely couldn't drink. So
Rick made her a drink.
Say dad. Don't say
Yeah, I was gonna say.
creepy.
She didn't drink it.
Fucking monster.
but yeah, and it was super awkward because
1 to
like,
10. What was her looks?
I mean, she was cute. I wouldn't say she was like
Yeah,
banging.
not
but-
worth. Not worth.
No, but it was.
I'm much too old for her, so I'm gonna just say that she's an adorable young lad.
That's probably young lad.
Don't incriminate
No, but
ourselves
so it
more.
was like super awkward because she's sitting there like hanging out with Tristan and with 7 of Tristan's friends sitting around him, and she hung out for a while, and we're just like, wow, how long is this gonna last? But that night we were going to Fremont Street, which is like old Las Vegas. If you guys don't know, it's like where there's the big video screen. And so we're like, okay, well, we're gonna leave for Fremont Street, so she'll leave at that point. Nope, she came with us.
Well, it kind of worked out because she drove me, Tristan, one of our friends.
Yeah.
Because we needed that. So
One less Uber.
Yeah, so yeah, she ended up coming with us and hung out over the night, and it was super weird the whole time. And then
Because
she
she wouldn't
left.
we
drink.
just hung out with Tristan. When we went to
Yeah, I was
Fremont.
gonna say,
yeah.
They did their own
I talked to her for a little bit, and she seemed kind of okay. Like, I never had a problem with her. It was just, it was
Tristan
interesting.
was just dumb.
Yeah, it was just funny because like that was the one thing that Rick said was don't bring girls back. Tristan's like, okay, I'm gonna do it anyway.
You didn't say
She's
anything
already
about,
on her way.
You didn't say anything about NFL players. No homo.
No.
to Vegas.
I love how he has to keep saying no homo.
At what point is it homo if you say no homo 12 times?
Hey, did you guys hear about that NBA player that was talking about like one of his? Yeah, and he was and literally in a live interview, he was like, "No homo," and
I think I did see
yeah, he
that.
got fined like 20. It was he got fined.
Why?
Like,
He said no homo.
yeah, right. No homo is the cure of all things.
Well,
He
that's
saved
gay.
himself. You get fined $40,000 for being gay and $20,000 for making a gay joke. That's how it works in the NBA.
Worth it.
Yeah, but
National
he's a
Butt
Euro
Fucking
player. Okay,
Association.
let's be kind to him. But yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. So don't say it on live TV, folks.
No homo.
Do you guys have any fun live TV moments? I was on TV last night, apparently.
I was also on TV last night. I got a picture from my mom. I was on TV.
Where were you last?
Awesome. Just show
I was
me
at
up.
the WSU game, which is the
Oh,
same
yeah.
reason Blake was on TV. I'm
Yeah.
assuming,
Yeah,
unless
well,
he was on The
yeah.
Price is Right or something. He didn't tell anybody.
it was a long day. Flew over from California, make it to the game.
Mike Leach was like, Blake, I need you.
Yeah.
I don't think I was ever on TV, but I was on a billboard one time. That's pretty fancy.
What?
Pizza
Yeah.
Pipeline.
Yeah, so my next door neighbors at my parents' house is the founder and CEO of Pete's Pipeline. Shout out Mike.
Good old Mike.
Oh, Mike. Mike
Yeah,
was
but
back.
so when I was probably like 12 or 13 years old, my sister and their daughter were like best friends growing up. So he's like, hey, I need some kids for this like ad.
I need some cute kids for a photo shoot.
I need some kids to come into my basement and take all their clothes off.
Only swim trunks, please.
We'll give you free pizza.
Yeah, no, seriously. So,
But did you know that every like 2 and 3 people live next to a pedophile?
oh really?
I don't think that's true. It's usually like a third of the
It's not me
country.
though. I just live next to a couple of
Welcome,
people.
welcome to Tyler's every podcast fun fact.
No, it's a joke from your
Yeah.
dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta give credit to him.
Yeah, the
No.
joke is, hey,
Never-
did you know that 1 in 3 Americans lives next to a pedophile? Like, this is a crazy stat, right?
He's told me.
I know, right? But, I mean, I don't, because I just live next door to a couple of cute little boys.
That's a good one.
Back to pizza. So,
And
yeah,
the
so
van.
he's like, yeah,
The
we
pizza
need,
van.
like, we're trying to do this ad with, like, kids, whatever. So if you guys come here, like, you can be on this thing. So we, like, show up at this place, me and my sister, and there's like a bunch of kids that we know like from school because like my sister and her friends, whatever. And they basically for like 3 hours just fed us as much pizza as we could eat and took a bunch of pictures of us. And we ended up on this big billboard, and it was just a bunch of kids eating pizza. And it's like pizza pipeline, kid tested, kid approved.
Was there one picture where you had to see how much pizza you could fit in your mouth at one time?
No, there should have been.
Was there any secret ingredients or something?
I could fit a whole pizza in my
Deep
mouth.
Thoughts, Deep Throats Pizza.
Yeah, Deep Throats Pizza.
Yeah, welcome to the Deep Throats podcast.
Our intro's just gagging noises.
Then it whispers "no homo" and then deep thoughts. Oh yeah, if you're listening to this, you will have heard the new intro to the podcast. It's
No
30
homo.
seconds long. Please do not get off the podcast for it being so long. Please don't just leave.
I love it.
Trust me, you'll get to the talking eventually.
I slaved over that for an hour and a half.
Yeah. We spent a lot of man hours on this podcast just to listen to it by ourselves.
All alone.
Yeah, all alone.
What do you mean? Amsterdam has a lot of listeners. They
Yeah,
listen.
we have a lot of international.
Yeah, we get
fans.
like 80 views in a day from Amsterdam.
Dude, I'll listen from Amsterdam when I go.
Oh,
What?
yeah, Tyler's gonna go to Amsterdam.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
My corporate meetings are in Amsterdam.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Speaking of Amsterdam, where's the funnest place you guys have ever traveled besides Vegas? Brady has lived in Scotland for a couple months. How was that?
Yeah, I lived there for like 6 months.
Yeah, there you go.
It was nice.
It was nice. Put it on the travel guide.
On the bucket list.
If you're thinking about going to Scotland, you got Brady's approval. It was nice.
Scotland. I'll show you around.
It was nice.
Yeah, Brady will show you around.
Yeah, you just gotta pay for his flights.
I mean, I'm going to Mexico in a month, but Mexico and Mazatlan. I don't know if I'm going to make it back alive, but that's okay
It's really
though.
Cool, but probably kind of
That's the
sketchy
thrill
nowadays.
of being.
Hey, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, if I get stabbed, I get stabbed. If he dies, he dies.
Fair enough.
If you join a cartel, you join a cartel.
Hashtag
More money for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
2K18, boys. I mean, places that I've actually gone to.
That's my biggest fear is being kidnapped in a different country.
What are you talking about? That's my biggest dream. I
think
want it
just
to
accept
happen.
It, like,
Yeah.
they're gonna either kill you or you're just gonna
I
go
mean,
with them.
I already
like-
get a stomachache in American social places.
See, my thing is,
Imagine being in a different
if I get
country.
kidnapped in another country, I just know that I'm going to die because there's not a chance anybody will pay my ransom.
Nobody wants
Nobody
to
loves
back
me.
anyways. Yeah.
If you'd like
Exactly.
if you'd like to donate to the Deep Thoughts podcast for Mason's ransom money,
Yeah, would you
please start
be
donating right
upset
now.
if your ransom was super low?
Yeah, it's
Well,
so
we
Yeah,
actually-
actually,
anyway.
hey,
We're
this brings up a
looking
good
for a-
question. This brings up a good question. What would make you more offended? The fact that nobody paid a high ransom for you, or that your ransom was so low?
Hold on. What would you be okay with your ransom being the same price as a printer?
What?
How expensive is a printer? I don't know what you're talking about.
Is this like an industrial printer that prints like 5?
Wait, is it $5, Tyler?
I think it'd be $5. Like that's how much printers
Where
go
can
for,
you get a
right?
printer?
Uh,
Is this a
Camelot
sponsor?
garage sale
Is this a sponsor?
Camelot-
I think this is a sponsorship.
every summer.
We are sponsored by Camelot Yard Sales. Every summer, our sponsor of the podcast. I'm so glad Tyler found a way to incorporate it. So Camelot Yard Sales, they have so it's a whole week during the summer. Every house in Camelot, they
3 months long.
so
Quite the sale.
for a whole week long. Every house, there's a neighborhood called Camelot where all these rich white people live. You
It's on
won't
the
find
north
Kyle
side.
there, but so in Camelot they have used yard sales and
They
it's a
sell
lot of
printers
fun.
for
It's
$5.
also
Printers $5.
that was not meant to be an ad at all. We don't care about the Camelot Yard Sale. There's
But
just
we do,
One of our
'cause we
friends
go
bought a
every
printer
year.
for $5, and it's an inside joke that has lasted for years.
And now you're part of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, there we go.
Welcome into our lives.
I wish we
Um,
had sponsors.
I've done my fair.
fans and listeners. And
Hey, well,
friends.
I have a sponsor. The G Wouldn't
G
You Like
Wouldn't
to
You
Know
Like to Know
box.
podcast.
We are
I don't like a
sponsored
podcast.
by the G Wouldn't You Like to Know podcast. It's not a money donation; it's an in-kind donation of being on the
They
podcast.
sponsor
So,
with their
wait, if I
presence.
put
I
this
sponsor
on-
this podcast by providing Blake and Zach with alcohol every once in a while.
Yeah, so if,
I mean, no, I don't.
Speaking of right now,
They're 21, it's okay.
No.
providing
No.
adult age
so if I
kids
put this on
without-
YouTube, am I gonna have to put paid sponsorship on this? Like,
Yeah.
like hashtag ad.
Hashtag.
Hashtag.
So I've done my fair share of traveling. I have been on some cruises. I've
Love
been to
cruises.
Hawaii. I've never been to Europe. Actually, fun fact: Brady and I are trying to.
That's still a thing.
Yeah,
We'll see. I
Is
mean,
it?
we'll see.
it's getting kind of close.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, neither of us are going to be working. Okay, backstory for everybody who's listening. So,
Right. We
Brady
gotta
and
track
I.
you down and find you.
Yeah, so
Tyler.
I'm graduating. I'm graduating college in December,
Rum and Pepsi, please.
and
No, you don't get to say what you get. Whose is this?
Mine's on the. You're
We're
right.
the same.
We are currently
Alcohol break.
refilling our drinks.
Thanks,
we
Tyler.
have a lot more to talk about. There's
okay.
only 3 people in here now. So
Oh.
Mason and Zach, everybody's
Hey.
leaving. Brady's back. Brady, say something.
just in time.
I'm gonna be leaving.
Oh, Brady's leaving.
Okay, so a little bit of backstory. So I graduate school December 7th. I work at a movie theater. Don't go there, please.
I will not go to
But
movie
so
theater.
the holiday
I hate
season,
movies.
the holiday season there is really busy. So I'm gonna graduate school, work through the holidays, and then quit my job. So January 1st, I will be unemployed and no longer in school.
Happy New Year. Way to celebrate.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
New Year, new me.
Yeah. I'm gonna get really
My
fat.
New Year's resolution is to get a job.
But Brady is also out of school, and Brady works a job that doesn't require him to work that time of year. So we're talking about going backpacking in Europe. So that would be something cool that would happen.
So you're just gonna leave
be
Tyler
crazy.
alone in the house for.
Well,
for
Tyler's
a while?
invited, but he probably won't do it. Tyler just got a new job.
Tyler's gonna be on the road anyways, working. There'll be nobody in this
Yeah.
house. I'm gonna come over here and party hard.
Our real sponsor, Tyler's new job, hit up Flying Squirrel Sports.
What's up, bitches?
Is that water?
No, it's pure vodka.
I get a sip of that water, please.
It's okay if you want some vodka.
But yeah, so we're thinking about trying to do that. So that'd be kind of cool.
Did you smell it?
Just in case.
Just in case Jason's drinking a 20-ounce glass of
The saddest
vodka
thing-
on a Sunday evening.
The saddest thing is that whenever I go to parties, I'm always like, a lot of times when I drink and I'm like in social situations, I like to be like the dad. I get, and only for like 5
Like
seconds.
to role play as a dad.
To where if I yeah, they say dad earlier when I'm giving them water, and then daddy later at night. But so earlier in the whenever I get like a glass of water,
That's beautiful.
whenever I get like
Tell your kids about that.
hey.
Sorry,
Whenever
you made me choke on my water.
Yeah, not the first time I'm gonna choke. But whenever I get some water just for me, I always kind of walk around and be like, "Hey, you want some water?" And every single time I go up to like a girl and say, "Hey, you want some water?" They're like, "Is this really water? Or is this vodka?" Because they've most likely been tricked earlier in their life,
They're
and I'm just
fucking
like,
idiots.
that's kind of fucked. I'm just like, no, it's water. That's kind of a dick move. Like, hey, drink this full glass of vodka so I can fuck you later. And that's pretty much how it is. It's like, jeez. It's like, trust me, I'm not gonna.
You
get
start
in your
them
pants
off with
anyways.
water, and then you move into vodka.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Coming full circle, speaking of traveling, in Vegas again.
Yeah,
Are you guys excited to go to Vegas? Blake's turning 21 this coming summer.
I'm pretty
He
excited.
gets to go to Vegas.
Yeah, we'll have to see when we leave.
Yeah, we gotta figure all that stuff out.
Yeah.
That's gonna be weird. Like, I don't know. I just want to be fucking 21, just so I can just go to bars and just, like, I know it's like, well, you're not. Come in.
Did you lock the
What's
door?
happening?
No, it's unlocked.
The door's
Oh my
unlocked.
gosh.
Oh, he's probably holding 2 drinks.
Oh my gosh, we're ruining this episode.
Hey, look at that! I'm so smart.
But all right, our drinks are here. Get ready to.
Thank you, sir.
In
There's
case
no
of,
Pepsi in it, just so don't get your hopes up.
Whatever.
in case if the listeners want to know, I'm smarter than everyone. That's all.
All right.
This is interesting.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm super excited for Vegas. I think it's gonna be super fun. But just all
The problem is though, like on Blake's birthday, I'm like supposed to be a best man at a wedding. So
Well, we didn't go on Brady.
yeah, we'll
Okay.
go like a couple.
Yeah,
days
because
after.
well, that was our problem. Was Brady's birthday is a week before mine, so I like begged Rick. I was like, "Please don't do this trip before I turn
Oh my
21."
gosh.
Why'd you
Tyler
let
put
Tyler?
wine in this shit.
I was wondering. I thought it was
I'm
like
not
a.
drinking that.
I don't know. It's fine.
Oh
Why
my
did you
goodness.
ask Tyler to make you
Is,
a
that,
drink?
is this wine or is this like?
I thought it was like.
Franzia. It's box wine.
I thought
Yeah,
it
I'm
was
not
like.
fucking drinking that.
You don't want to slap that wine thing.
Fuck
Take a
that.
bowl.
Oh yeah, speaking of stories, did I
Bob-
interrupt anything?
What?
I have a story about Tyler. The time he beer bonged a half bottle of wine,
Oh
and
my
it was a
gosh.
bag, and he
I
was.
don't want to hear this.
Oh, I do because it's
Do you not
amazing,
like
and I love
wine?
telling the story.
Not in a mixer. I don't.
I don't like wine. That's gross.
Wait, was
Yeah.
that the wine? Okay, he pulled some wine out of the fridge. He's like, "Yeah, this has been here for like a year," but I thought he put it.
It's aged to perfection.
No,
This box
there's
wine.
no way he would have done that.
That was-
That's disgusting.
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
that wine has been in there for like over a year.
Wait, is
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad.
Can we get everybody back in the room, please? Because this podcast has, come.
I just
almost
want to
to
hear
an
about
end.
Vegas.
Talk about how excited you are.
I don't know. I'm pretty excited.
I just
Thanks
don't
for
know.
giving me wine, asshole. I'm not gonna drink this.
What?
You gave me wine to my thing.
No,
There's definitely wine in there.
there's tea.
Is it?
That's
tea?
what I thought it was. I thought it was tea.
It tastes like wine. Oh my gosh, we are currently.
Dude, there's
tasting-
wine in that. You're a liar.
You fucking
Yeah,
liar.
there's 100% wine in
Tyler's a liar. You're trying to get me drunk and take advantage of me tonight.
It's not Emma's wine, is it? Is it actually? If it is, don't drink it. That thing has been in there for like over a year.
All right. Well. Anyways,
It's
back
aged,
to the
right?
podcast.
I'm gonna go check because Tyler's not gonna actually answer.
Oh my gosh, this podcast, this episode is a mess. We've been going on for way too long. We should cut it short. So filler topics. How's single life, Chase? Getting any
I
ladies?
think we already talked about this.
I was gonna say, I mean,
I feel weird always-
nothing's changed in the last 10 minutes. I mean, mostly, I just think about I was gonna say it's mostly just shame. just really shame. And also too, my favorite part, rolling around to the holiday season, so I get to hang out with my grandma and all my family, and they're like, "So Chayce, have you met anybody special?" And I'm like, "Nope, I'm still
Don't drink that.
Nobody loves me."
Yeah, I'm not.
Don't drink that.
Oh my gosh, this is a nightmare.
You're literally gonna poison them.
No, it's just fermented.
No,
I
it's
was-
not. Not when it's open.
I don't know. I always feel weird talking about like dating lives. I mean, I've never actually had like a real girlfriend. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, you're looking at me. You're like,
I know.
wow.
I'd be your
Yeah.
girlfriend.
Thank you.
I've had Chayce, but apparently we're still single. So.
Yeah, not for
I
long.
don't know. I just feel weird, just like because I know a lot of people. They're like, "Oh yeah, like I'm super open about like talking about girls and like I'm super deep, like talking about like friends and stuff." I just can't talk to friends about like anything about women. Like I just like can't. It just feels weird.
Yeah,
I feel dirty.
This is super funny because I always like when I go to the dentist, I schedule an appointment like 6 months ahead. So mine's always in August, and so 6 months from now, like, okay, how about like 6 months from now, and it'll be like February 14th. They're like, "Are you sure that's okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine."
I like how they're always like, well, that day at work for
Valentine's
you, it's
Day?
like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll schedule my appointment.
Sure.
Valentine's Day. It's gonna be a slow day.
I don't know.
Valentine's Day is the saddest day of the year.
Actually, I'm pretty sure I have a dentist appointment coming up here soon.
Oh, nice.
You want
What
to
a
talk
fun-
about your
what a fun
dentist
topic.
appointment? Yeah, let's talk about your. Let's say how's your oral hygiene?
My tooth has really
My
been
oral
hurting me
hygiene.
lately.
Just out
I
of
mean,
curiosity, how much time are we at?
My
Like
Yeah.
an hour 15.
fuck
Oh
yeah.
my god.
I know we need to end it. We're running out of topics. This is a nightmare.
What are you
my
talking
God.
about?
We're
I was
my
gonna say
dentist
We're on a whole other episode.
I was gonna
right?
say-
I'd be fine. I'd be fine talking for like another hour.
and then
but
just split it into two.
We could.
Well, how about let's end it right here, and
Let's
then we'll
end it right
start
here and
another
then start
one.
another episode.
All right, that sounds pretty good. All right, so hey, don't stop me yet. So this is part one. Oh my god,
Part
Wow.
one to be continued.
This is
of
our
Deep
first-
Thoughts featuring G. Would
This
you
is
like
our
no
first
featuring
part
Tyler?
one. I
Starting with Tyler's dentist appointment.
we're gonna hey, everybody quiet down.
I didn't pee anyway, so we're
So
good.
so
We're gonna take a break. I gotta get an actual drink that's not gonna poison
seriously.
me.
We're gonna take a quick intermission. I'm gonna hopefully
That
by the
sounds
time
good.
we start our second
Lobby.
episode, I'm gonna be fucking wasted out of my mind saying racial slurs. Who knows what's gonna happen?
By quick intermission, are you going to put them out like a week
We're
apart from each other? You probably should.
Back to
maybe,
back.
maybe a couple days.
Yeah,
Not a
we'll
week,
space them
but-
out a little
Yeah,
bit.
we'll space them out a little bit. I mean, I don't know. We're pretty impulsive with our
Just
episodes.
wait till they release date of their next podcast.
Yeah, instantly.
All right, this is the last episode of the Deep Thoughts podcast. It's been real.
So yeah,
This is part one, though, which is also the last episode. There's no part two.
so this is episode 13, 14?
14.
This is episode
14.
Oh my
14A.
god.
Hey, this is episode 14.
We'll just name the next one 15 so I can pay
Yeah,
that
and
number.
then so episode 14, we're about to record episode 15. So if you listen to this now and you're about to listen to episode 15, just know that it was in the same day. We're wearing the same clothes.
Yep.
Maybe
I want-
less
I want-
clothes.
if you need
Maybe
a
less
picture,
clothes.
I might have to
Chayce's in a
change my.
Gonzaga sweatshirt, a trucker hat. Tyler's in a gray sweatshirt and jeans. Zach's also in a gray sweatshirt.
And I'm pretty close to naked. So, all right.
Blake's in a Borat onesie.
So we're gonna take a high five and then a little break, and we'll be back with more
Go change
more
our
information.
underwear.
So
More information.
Okay, yeah, more information. So we all got our hands up. This is
Can we
scary.
like circle this?
This is
Like
gonna
make
be
it giant?
So we're about to
Like
make a
this,
high
Chayce,
five.
combine.
Zach, you ready to
Combine.
stop the recording?
So we can
and we're gonna. Honestly, I'm just gonna say this right
It
now.
doesn't matter because I could just edit it anyway.
I'm just gonna say right now. I hope that this episode turns out good. We've been yelling a lot. This is the most guests we've ever had. It's a new record. Hopefully we break it later. We're gonna high five and start an episode. All right, Three Thoughts Podcast.